I'm Rosemary Dillon. I'm a Violet Guide. I have a background in the clinical world, so I've had the very great privilege of being with people in various circumstances, both happy and very challenging. So I've always had an interest in end-of-life issues, but when end-of-life issues actually impacted my own family, I found that I too needed support, so I looked for an organisation that could help me through that time, and hence I made contact with the Violet Initiative. On the initial call, my emphasis is always on understanding the current situation. So I'll ask the carer about what's happening for them, what's their understanding of the situation that they're in. And often people are very confused about what's happening. They know that the future is in jeopardy. They're not really sure what's going to happen, but they know that they want the best for the person that they're caring for, and they know that they're limited by time in some way. So we talk about the situation that they're in. And then once I understand that, I think it's also important for the carer to understand that the Violet Initiative and the Violet Guides are in existence to support the carer. Carers are often very lonely and very isolated. They're doing an incredible role supporting the person that they love at the end of life. And often all the the person who is at the end of life is the centre of all the busyness around that. They often have lots of medical appointments. They're going from one examination to another. They might be still having lots of treatments. All the activity revolves around the person at the end of life. And the carer is the person who's in the background, kind of just gently coordinating all of that, making sure all of that happens. Usually they're very selfless people. There's not much time for being selfish in that role, and people will leave their own needs right till the very last. So an important part of being a Violet Guide is just to remind the carer that our sole purpose is to help them in that role. So it's about supporting the carer, and I think that's a really important thing. I think people come to the Violet Initiative for support, and I think there's some very common issues that people have in that role as a caregiver. The first set of issues, I guess, are around understanding the role that they're in. How do they operate as a carer? What can they do? How can they respectfully support the wishes of the person that they're caring for? They don't want to rush in and be a boss and suggest that the person do things that they don't want to. So the first set of issues are around the role of the carer, and then there are some other issues as time goes on. People can be unsure about how to start conversations. They know that it's really important to have conversations. They're not sure how to start those. They may be feeling very lonely and isolated, and they may want some help to understand how to ask for help. It's really difficult for carers to ask for help. It's also difficult for people in the circle of support around the person to provide support. And often it becomes a vacuous sort of, well, give me a ring if there's anything I can do, which really leaves the carer just another set of things to work out. And it can actually be very stressful. So there's a lot of issues around understanding, mapping out a circle of support. Who can they go to for help? And who can provide them with support? And then there's another set of issues a little bit further along that path around what's ahead. How to understand what's likely to happen, who to ask about that, to get accurate information and really understand what's ahead so that they can plan and be ready for that, making sure that they understand the wishes of the person that they're caring for. I think it's really important for people to understand that they will get through this situation and to really trust themselves. They will have the capacity to deal with this situation, to make the most of the situation, and to understand what the person that they're caring for most wants and what's most important to them. So I think it's difficult for people to imagine what it's going to be like at the end of somebody's life. And sometimes funny things happen. I remember standing around the bedside of my sister singing. I can't sing for anything. And in fact, it was my suggestion, which is even, more weird. But it was just a lovely thing to do. Things will happen organically. And so I think it's important, really important for people to trust themselves, that they do have the capacity, they can do this, and that it is an important role. And it's one of great opportunity and privilege, and one that they will walk away from with greater wisdom than they had beforehand.